Cool. So yeah, I was just doing a quick intro. So like I said, this is Lance. I'm Lance from Academy Kings. I got Samir Chantre on here. So we're going to be diving into some jiu-jitsu, some business, some life stuff. So Samir, how's it going, man?
Good. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. What do you have going on out there? You guys opened up yet? Where are you at with openings in California?
Yes. We are just went through red, right? So we do have some limitations still technically, but we were in purple for a long time, and it's been hard. But people now are starting to they're being a little bit more easy. Definitely looking for activities more. People's head is being a little bit different now, different than before for sure.
They're a little bit more open to training than they were a couple months ago.
Way more.
And are you seeing, are people kind of over it out there? Like, or do you still have a lot of people that are kind of lockdown mode?
You still have some people that are still kind of on the fence, like they don't know, they're not too sure about it, but a lot of people are like way more, the majority are definitely like, I'm over it, like I want to do something, can't stay home anymore, gotta do something about it. A lot of people are like more like a lot of vaccines now here, so a lot of people getting vaccinated, so that's definitely been helping too. Yeah, a lot of people are just done.
Yeah, no, I think it's the same. We're seeing an explosion at all the Academy Kings kind of locations that we kind of work with. A lot of people are 50, 60 new students, 35, 40 new students, like crazy numbers. So it's really great to see that people are starting to come back and starting to, just get back in that groove of wanting to train, and whether it's jiu-jitsu, martial arts in general, fitness, but getting out of the house. And I think it's really kind of starting to blow up, which is great. So let's kind of jump back. Do you want to kind of talk a little bit about your story, kind of how you got into jiu-jitsu and how you got into business, and just kind of wherever you want to kind of take it, we'll kind of talk about it a little bit.
Yeah. So in jiu-jitsu was a long time ago. I started training, I was super young. My brother, he started training. I was always into soccer. And my brother started training. I went to one of his belt promotions. He was getting his yellow belt, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, I was 8 years old. And the guys were like, oh, come in, check out a class, come in. So I started, I really liked it. So I started training, and then I stopped for a little bit, a few years later for soccer too. And then I stopped soccer. I was like, hey, I'll come back to jiu-jitsu. I saw my instructor, Alan Moraes. He was my neighbor. He was my dad's neighbor, actually, but I was always at my dad's house visiting. So he was a great friend. So he was like, hey, I just got my black belt, come train with me and this and that. He was teaching at Carson Gracie headquarters in Rio. And I was like, okay, I'll be there tomorrow. And he was like, wow, okay. And then I kept going ever since. I was, I think, 13 at that time. I stopped for like 2 years just playing soccer, just going to school and play soccer. And then ever since I was 13, then I never stopped.
Perfect.
Then at 20, I got my black belt and moved to America.
And you were, where were you when you first moved to America? What part of California were you in?
I was here in Northern California, but I was in the East Bay. I was around closer to San Francisco. Then I moved to San Jose, and now I'm in Modesto. But all around that area, all around this area, everything within like 80 miles range, something like that.
So you must, when was that? Because I remember you first came to our academy, it was like, I don't know, 10 years ago or something.
Yeah.
Years ago.
I think it was.
Been here a little bit.
Yeah, I arrived in 2009.
Okay.
And I think first went to you guys' academy was 2010.
Okay, yeah, probably, because I was the very first school we had. I remember that. Wow, long time, man, long time. You were training, doing some fights, doing some stuff, winning some world championships. So 3-time world champion, is that right?
2-time world champion, Pan American champion, 9 times American national champion.
Wow. That's pretty impressive. Doing all that, plus started your school, or you were just working, or how did the school pop up?
Yeah, no, I was only teaching for a long time. I was only teaching for quite a few times until I think I partnered up with a small school. It was back in 2015. So I partnered up with a small school. Then it was when I started doing kind of like a partnership, So I started leading my own school, like only me. I was on the only instructor. Until then, I always taught for somebody else's school, for an MMA school. So then that's when I started kind of like seeing a little bit more the business aspect of it. I wouldn't touch much the business. They would do the business. It was a martial arts school, and I was heading of the jiu-jitsu program. That was when I kind of start seeing a little bit more the business aspect of it. And then a year later, me and Kishinho, we opened a school. That was right when we started Aries. That's when we opened the school. That was March 2016 was when we opened our first academy here in Modesto. Smaller academy, I think 14,000 square foot, 1,400 square foot. I'm sorry, 1,400 square foot. And that was when we really started like getting into the business aspect, bumping our heads a lot. That wasn't because it was never our goal. Like we never stopped competing a lot. We never stopped training a lot. We never stopped traveling a lot, So business wasn't our 100% goal there. We weren't even that good at it. So it was basically, we opened the academy. Of course, we wanted to grow. Of course, making money is always one of the goals, but we wanted to be together, train together, have a bunch of guys, and we are training. We were still in our primes, competing, training, and traveling the world, teaching seminars, competing all around the world. So that was a lot our focus too.
Can you, so just for some of the people that may not know who Kishinho is, can you just kind of tell who Kishinho is, and actually, maybe Milton also, just talk about the association you guys have and kind of go from there.
We started Aries December 2015, me, Kishinho, and Milton, and my instructor, Alan, being in Aries, Brazil. Right, so it was just one of those things that are meant to be. Kishinho was teaching someone else. Me and Milton had just left our association where Kishinho was before, like probably 6 months or to a year before. Kishinho also left. He was teaching someone else, and then everything. And my instructor, the academy, Carson Gracie, closed at that time back in Brazil. So my instructor was starting a new academy. So kind of everything happened at the same time. Everything was meant to be, basically, So that was when we started Aries. And Kishinho left the gym that he was teaching, and we started our first academy. That's when we started. Kishinho, if you don't know, was Valdo Moisinho. He won awards like 4 times. 3 times we closed out worlds, I think twice. American Nationals a bunch of times too. Pan Ams. Yeah, he's very, very active with amazing jiu-jitsu. If you don't know him, you should. Milton has been in the scene too for a long, long time. So we've been training together for a long, long time too. But Milton already had his academy in Mountainville, which is right next to San Jose, and he stayed there. Now we recently moved to Nashville. He just started his academy there. In fact, I'm going to his grand opening 3 weeks. I'll be there in Nashville.
I think VJ and I might be there with you.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Might come down.
And I don't know if he told you, I'll be visiting you like a few weeks later.
Oh, really? No, I haven't talked to him. Perfect. What was the turning point business-wise when you saw students coming through the door?
We went a kind of plateau. We got to a point where we were able to keep the business and getting a little bit of money for ourselves. Very little compared to what me and Kishinho were doing, the academy we're training and we're working. But because, like I said, because we were really focusing on training, on competing and traveling around the world. We have a big association today, right? A big, like not gigantic, because like not compared to the biggest ones, because we are very new still. We're only 5-year-old. We have a decent sized association, and we have a big association in Arizona. So we have, I think, around 10 schools in Arizona affiliated to us. So Kishinho moved to Arizona. That was 2 years ago. That was July 2019. July 2019. Him moving there, I moved location. I got a bigger location. And that was kind of the trigger. Like, okay, I had 2 world champions in the school. Now I have 1. I got a facility that's 3 times bigger than the one before. I got to do something about it. I got to make sure first, I got to keep providing. I got to provide the best service to my students, So I got to focus on my students. But it's time for me to take care of the business. I'm doing everything by myself now. Before, of course, we used to split all the tasks and everything. So now I'm going to be handling everything by myself. The academy is way bigger. The responsibilities financially, my financial responsibilities are twice as much now. I can't keep this plateau because we know if we don't grow, we end up going down. Everything that doesn't go up goes down, right? So I can't keep that plateau because eventually people stop training for many different reasons, right? So I'm either gonna grow up or it's gonna be I'm gonna start going down. And that was kind of like when I was like, okay, now I gotta really take care of the business. I gotta really grow the academy. And that's when I started with Lance with the MMA Street Secrets, with the Academy Kings, and then everything changed. Everything like.
So you were like really the second person that we were working with. We had like a couple in our
Chris
Chris, and then you kind of came in, and it was, you know, a lot of people have a hard time, I think, kind of jumping in with us because they don't know firsthand. Like Chris obviously knew firsthand. He's in our affiliation. He's close to us. You had been to our academy 10 times or something. You and Casino and Milton and stuff. So I don't know, man. I would think you'd been there about 10 times.
Way more.
Or 20 times. I don't know. A lot. I mean, a couple times a year, probably. Yeah, you're right. Because it was 10 years and you came.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you would do New York Open and stuff. And then you come train with
Yogi Pants.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So it was 20 times.
Yeah. And then I would go only for seminars. Sometimes on the East Coast.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about it. I was just like, oh, he's been here a bunch of times.
Yeah, but the biggest thing about it, and that's what I tell everyone. That's what I tell people when people ask me about you guys, and they tell, oh, it's a big financial commitment. And I said yes, but the thing that for me was very easy, and I bet Chris had the same thing, is that I saw you guys with 5 students.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I literally with my own eyes saw you guys in a small, like this size gym with 5 students, and then I saw you guys with 700 students.
Yeah.
And also, I saw the growth. Nobody told me, nobody tried to convince me that. I saw it, and that's when people ask me about it. I tell, hey, for me, it wasn't hard. When we were talking, first thing I said is like, I'm in. Just let me know what it is and what we need to do, and I'm in. And you gave me a whole presentation. I was sold a long time ago. You know?
So I guess that's a good little segue into like, so you were before you started with us, you were how many students, and then like you were having trouble getting them in and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think I had a lot of holes in my business knowledge. I had some misinterpretation. Like I live in a community where a lot of low income people. We were around 85 students. We're around 85 students, and we were charging low, and a lot of people would think it was expensive. When people come in, people find it expensive, and we were charging like $139 a month. Some people think it was expensive. Some people would stay. We would do a 7-day trial. We had a lot of people taking advantage of the 7-day trial and then leave and doing 4 classes or 7 days. And some people would come in one day and then next week come another day and then next week come another day. Oh, I'm doing 7 days. I was like, bro, that's not what it is, you know? Yeah, like a lot of things business wise, you know, not only business. Marketing, we basically didn't do any marketing, like close to zero. The only thing I had a company keeping my name up there in the Google search, but close enough. We didn't have any money to spend either, you know? So not a lot of people would come to the door because advertising wasn't there, even though we were paying top dollar to be like in a good part of town and in a front store. Our shopping that was the reason why I moved, actually. One of the reasons, right? The shopping center wasn't that popular, and people would come in and, like I said, 7-day trial and $139 a month for unlimited, and people wouldn't stay anyways, you know?
Mm-hmm. So then at that point, you were kind of saying that was after Casino left, you moved, and then you were kind of like, okay, I want to start growing it. You jumped in with us. I tell the story a lot because I think it's really powerful. You know, when you first started, we were like, all right, you know, when we were doing it then, we were selling for $4.99, and I was like, hey, you can sell it for $4.99. You're like, no, not in this area. Like, it won't work. And then you're like, I think you started at like $1.99 or
no, $3.49. I wanted to do something like $2.50, $2.99, and you're like, do at least $3.49 then.
Okay.
You were really like, everyone say that. everyone say that, and people change their mind afterwards. I'm like, bro, people were struggling here to pay $139 a month. There was no way. And I'll tell you, when I tell people that, people are like, there's no way, no, it's not gonna happen. I started when I did. I remember my selling rate, my closing rate was so high that you were like, okay, so just so you know, business wise, if you're selling more than 70-80% of the times, because you're going too cheap. So this is what you gotta do, raise it. So you're gonna have less amount of people but making the same amount of money. So it's better because there's space for more people and this and that. And one of the multiple things that you open my eyes to, like I say, since the beginning, I told you, like, a lot of things that I needed to be changed, just in my head, just as knowledge as a business. I learned so much. It's crazy.
Awesome. Yeah. So you jumped in with us. We started switching up the program a little bit, and you did the 6-week program, obviously 6 weeks, $500, and again, like you said, I think the script is just so good that it works so well. Like you said, if you just kind of follow that process, it gets away from all of the problems of like, oh, they can't afford it, they can't do this, they can't do that. And then you kind of follow that script, you get people just coming in saying yes, pretty much. I mean, it's very easy to follow that. What do you think's the most powerful part of just the whole program, I guess, for you at least?
For me, 100%, I always told you guys that for me, 100% was the mentorship. Just how much I learned as a business, this is something that I'll take for the rest of my life. And I feel like any business that I open right now, I'm able to make it at least better than I was going to do before. I was even talking to my wife about it. I was like, hey, I truly think, like, if you want to open an academy, if you want to open a location, whatever, I know the ingredients. I know, I know how to grow that. Just like the management, of course, the marketing is amazing. The ads and all, the 6-week program is great, and it's something that it's great. It's great financially. It's amazing. But I feel like the mentorship, like anything, like just our meetings, our weekly meetings, I learn a lot. The advice is that I always pick your brain about it, anything that happens in the gym. And 90% the decisions that I was going to take it was going to be the other way. Tell me something, I was like, okay, I'll do it. And the mentorship, I think it was something completely different. It was something that, like, I wasn't expecting when I started, but I think it was what made the biggest difference for me. What makes the biggest difference for me was the mentorship with you guys, like how I learned about business, how I learned about running an academy, retention, customer service, and all that.
Yeah, I think one of the things that people don't, they look, like you said, they look at the price tag of whatever the service is that we're offering, and then they just kind of think of that as like, oh, I have to make all that money back like the next day, or this isn't worth it, and don't look at the investment of like the knowledge. And like you said, like if for some reason you decide I'm not going to do jiu-jitsu anymore, I'm going to close down. And, I know you've talked about real estate before and stuff like that, and you're going to get into real estate. And it's like, all right, like you at least have some really good knowledge that you can learn how to run an ad, learn how to have a conversation with somebody, and then be able to sell or do those things. No matter what it is, like you have that knowledge forever now. So like not thinking of it as like, just, I have to, this is only jujitsu, this is only martial arts. And then like this program only works for that. It's like, no, it's just basic business principles or even advanced business principles that you can apply in any situation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Running a business, it's a business. So a lot of times you came from different business too. So I'm sure all the knowledge you brought from different things and books, and also sometimes I read books from people that don't even know jiu-jitsu is, and you can apply that to jiu-jitsu. So I'm definitely able to apply everything I learned to other type of business too, and just the sense, just the feeling that I now know the recipe, and it was the same thing with COVID. Although I was a little frustrated, COVID was hard. I'm in California, so I don't think I need to say anything else, right? So COVID was hard, but I always had in my mind, like, I know the recipe. I know the recipe. I know what took me from 85 to 175, so in a couple months, like 3 months, I know what to do.
Yeah, that was the thing. And you kind of knew, like, okay, I'm going to, like, you went to Brazil, you did a couple of things during COVID and kind of, said, okay, the business is sustained itself. It's going to be here. And then it's like, as soon as you were ready, you just turned the ads back on, turned the machine back on. And, again, having that knowledge, it's not like you have to do it all at one time. It's like, okay, I can take a break. Wes is another guy that's in the group, took 3 or 4 months off completely, and then started ads back up, started running things again as things started to open up. But you did kind of the same thing. Like you said, like California was definitely tighter than most places in the country.
Yeah, I even tried.
You just kind of bided your time until things started to open up. And then last month you did an extra 15,000 and 30 some students. Like it's pretty nice to be able to just turn it on like that when you want.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like having that feeling that I can, I honestly have the feeling that I can go anywhere in the world. And, I want to start here from scratch, and I'm able to. I know I carry a name, I carry titles, but the knowledge, it tops off everything. This knowledge, it definitely tops off my name, tops off my curriculum and everything, because I have my name and curriculum for a long time, and I didn't get close to what I have today after the knowledge, So for sure, like last year, I even tried to restart again, but restrictions were hard. And I kind of I got some calls from sheriff's office. I was like, I'm going to turn those lights off, And so I was like, I'm going to keep quiet. I'm going to relax. I'm going to, just sit back and wait for, quiet down. So now it's definitely better. People are way more open, and like restaurants here, you can eat inside now. Like it's starting to ease up. So I was like, hey, let's do it. I'm ready. Like right when we came back from that trip, right? I was like, man, I'm ready. Let's do it. And we just started not long ago. Like this is the 4th week, and 34 students.
Nice. Yeah. So 34 students for March. You said that was, most of those were the 6-week program people. So you got the $500 up front for them.
I think only 2 or 3 weren't. Only 2 or 3 weren't. So.
Good. Yeah. So now you have, you kind of can keep that going. Now you have 30 students that you can transfer for next month into full members, and then you can bring in new members again next month, some regular term members, and then obviously some 6-week members also. So that works really, really well, just as like that rotating kind of idea of like, you just kind of get that flow going.
And I would have 3 weeks in, and I would have people signing up already for the regular membership. They're like, right. Yeah, just sign me up. Yeah, because Zen Planet has that thing, right? They pop the red tag after the 3 weeks or something for a renewal.
Yeah.
You sign up, and so
nice.
Converting them is also very important, right?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of promising what we promise and then actually delivering on it.
Over deliver.
Yes, over deliver. That's right. So what's kind of what do you got going on? So I know you have the association. I know Milton's opening his school. How many students would be too many for a single class? Well, I guess it depends on your mat. But I mean, shoot, I know in Brazil, I've been there and they've had 40 people on 300 square feet. And yeah, you're like taking, you have groups of 3, your people are sitting on the side while people are rolling. What do you think? Is there too many?
It depends. It depends. I've had people asking me, oh, how many people in your class and this and that. Some people talk about it. Some people don't care. But of course, it all depends on that space. It's hard to say.
Some people, like you said, some people are going to be nervous about coming back with a bunch of people in the same room. Other people aren't, but you want to be as safe as you can, and as you want to have it as nice and accommodating as possible for students. So if you have the room, a couple of things that you can do is if you're doing like an hour and a half class, you could have 2 1-hour classes, do little strategies like that so people kind of can get extra time. You can do 3 days a week versus like an unlimited membership. That'll help double your capacity at your facility. So those are a couple of kind of strategies that you can do to just get extra classes in or limit the amount of time that people actually come.
Yeah, I remember one more thing that I never thought about it, and I asked you, I was like, man, I'm thinking about maybe a new location in the future, and you completely shoved that off of my head. You're like, yeah, but you can do this, you can do that, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this, you can do that, and now you double your money, you double your income, but now you're spending the same money because you're only worried about one academy. Like, makes sense. Okay, thank you.
I saw a post the other day. It was like I can't remember exactly, but it was something to the point of like, hey, I'm opening up a second location, or I'm thinking about it. What are some of the things I should think about if I'm doing this? And like I put don't do it unless you can take 6 months off they're like basically leave your academy alone for 6 months and the academy can run itself. at that point, you're ready to open up a second facility. Other than that, it's like, don't do it. It's the biggest mistake. It's the biggest trap, I think, that most martial artists make, is thinking like, oh, I need a bigger space or I need multiple academies. And it always ends up being a drain on their finances from the first academy that was successful.
Usually the first academy ends up paying for the second one for the longest time.
Yep. That's pretty much the thing that I've seen across the board for most of those.
No, me too.
Those systems dialed in.
Yeah, and I think if I ever think about that, I think I'll knock off the wall and expand rather than getting a second location.
Yeah, I think that's definitely smart, because again, at least you're focused on one spot, one thing. Your staff is dialed in, and then as that grows, you start to step out and get your staff to take more of that leadership role, and then you can start to step out. And once you can start to see, hey, I haven't been there for a month and we gained 20, 30 students and we're making money, then you can start to think about that second, third location. So what is your plan right now? Just kind of keep focusing on the academy? You still competing? What do you got going on?
Yeah, no, I'm still competing, although I just made a post today, April Fools, that I'm retiring. I got a bunch of messages about it, but guys, I put there April Fools. I'm still competing. Definitely less than before. I'm not 20 anymore, and I do have the academy to run and the association and all family. But man, I still have some killers here. I have a bunch of killers, black belts, lower belts, that come and train with me here, and they stay here. They live here, right? So they come training me, and just keeping up. Just keeping up with these kids, it's already like I'm training for worlds every day, right? So as long as I have that quality of training, as long as I'm healthy, I think I'll still be active in the scene, and I'm still the champion for fight to win, gi and no gi, at 145. So I want to defend those titles soon. Been trying to get me a fight for the past few months. So I might be fighting by the end of the month. It's not 100% yet. So I'm definitely gonna defend my titles this year. So I'm still looking forward to that. And in terms of the academy, I'm still gonna put the work here, make that we set up some goals, right? Yep. So my goal was to go back to where we were at before COVID. We were pretty close to that. This month we actually hit that in cash flow. So we're pretty close to reaching that, and then I'll get to the goals that we were setting before COVID. So these are definitely my goals for now. Still competing, but very focused on growing the business still, for sure.
And then what about the association? What's kind of what are you guys trying to do with that? You guys taking affiliates right now? You want to do a little pitch?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, no, we are taking affiliates. But one very important thing that we always talk about, we do not. It's since the beginning. We're always talking about that. We were very surprised actually on how fast we grew. We were very surprised on how fast we grew.
You guys are what, like 70?
We are around 70, yeah, around 60s, yeah. But we are only 5 years old. Like we took fourth at Pan Am's last year. We took fourth as a team in the adult. We took fifth, if not this past year, the year before, in the Master Worlds. We were top 10, I think maybe fifth at Worlds 2019. So not only results, but also like the amount of academies that we got, we really surprised us, because our goal since the beginning wasn't to grow deliberately, like we always wanted to. This is one thing that, if you're my affiliate, if you spoke to me before becoming an affiliate with us, I always talk about that. Like we ready to have our group where people have the same view, the same visions that we have, and so we can walk the same way, so we can walk in the same path. If you see jiu-jitsu as we see, that's the people that we're interested from. Like unfortunately, like sometimes we had to decline affiliates. We have to ask people to step out because they are not in the same page. And it's one thing that we strongly think, and that was the reason why we started Aries. We started Aries because me, Kishinho, and Milton, and Alan Brazil, we had always the same view. We saw jiu-jitsu the same way. We saw jiu-jitsu as a way to, make people's better and make a way to be around friends, be around thinking. Like our association, we never saw like strictly as a business, we always saw as we're a team, we're a family, we really wanted to grow together and see jiu-jitsu in a different way. So a lot of people see jiu-jitsu in many different ways, right? And our focus was always to grow, but to grow in a way where we could have everyone on the same page and everyone seeing jiu-jitsu like that and be happy about it, be happy that like you've been to one of our association's meetings. We have a bunch of meetings throughout the year. We have the end of the year celebration. We're having now, we are all going, a bunch of our guys, like Milton is opening an academy in Nashville. I'm flying across the country to, like not only me, of course, but a bunch of us are flying across the country just because of the camaraderie, just happy for his results, happy for his life, happy for his change, for he's happy there. So let's share that happiness, and that's what our team is about, sharing great moments together. And that's how we always wanted things to be. We were pretty amazed to find so many people that happen to share the same vision as we do.
Yeah, no, you do have a great association, like, and some great people, Kenny Kim, Paul Nava, like, Alex and Chris, like you guys have a ton of people that are just, just great people.
Exactly.
So, they're fun to be around. They're just great people in general. So it is, you guys have done a really great job. And like you said, you try to do the extra stuff. You try to do the business meetings. You try to do the events for the team at the end of the year and stuff. So that's really good stuff. I think you guys have really put together a great organization. So I'm glad that I can kind of jump in from time to time as the outsider. Getting back to some of the business ideas, like we said, I think some people just don't look at it as an investment in life and in general business knowledge. They look at it as like a one-time kind of gimmick or whatever of like, oh, they're just a marketing agency or they're just going to get me leads. But like you said, it's a bigger program than that. And, I want people to know that. So like, I think that's one of the biggest differences between us and pretty much anyone else that's in the industry. Most are going to run ads for you. Most are going to, I saw one of the big guys like, oh, we'll run your ads for $99 or whatever. Like, great, but we won't teach you actually how to sell anything. We won't teach you the retention secrets. We won't teach you like how to get, organic and free stuff. You have to pay extra for all that. So it's like, we're kind of like coming from the idea of like, hey, we want you to get students and run ads for you and things like that. But we also want you to know how to do it so you can do it anywhere. We want you to learn how to like price things correctly and make money and actually know about profit margin and retention and all of these things. So I think it is a disconnect from the normal kind of ad agency or something like that a lot of people do.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it was a month into when I started with you guys, I told you guys, man, like just the mentorship aspect of it. It makes so much difference. It makes so much difference. And just learning the business, just learning all that and just our meetings and it's a weekly meeting, so I don't even know how you can get so many things put together every week. It's a different thing that I haven't thought about that just adds up and we get so much knowledge in those meetings and discussing between all the academy kings too. And it's great, man. Like it is an investment, but you got to think when you got a place, you got to pay for the place. You got to pay for the place. There's an investment so you can be in that place, right? It should be your payroll. It should be in your payroll. It's an investment. If you want to grow, it's what you got to do. It's just so much and very, very profitable.
I guess the main thing is obviously you are successful. And I think you talked about it a little bit, even with your name and you and Casino were both there together at that time before you kind of did that. And, you guys were struggling with two, multi-time world champions, hoping that like the names and the recognition would come along with that. And you probably did get a lot of the brown belts and things like that coming by that wanted to do a free trial with you or whatever. But
no, I did get some students, but you gotta think this way. I have a few academies around my academy, right? If it was just for my name, they all would have gone bankrupt. Yeah. It's not the case, like no one ever heard about any of them. And they're in business. They have people. Some of the academies are a good size academy or decent size academy. So only the name is not gonna do it. It's not gonna do it because I've got a bunch of people that come here and know exactly who I am, exactly what I do, exactly everything. But I get a lot of people that have no clue what jiu-jitsu is. How the hell are they gonna know Samir? I even have like a big picture of when I was a cover of a Jiu-Jitsu magazine, to help that a little bit when people like come in. Oh, at least the guy is a cover in a magazine, they don't think it's Photoshop. But still, like a bunch of people walk through my door, they have no idea what Jiu-Jitsu is, even less who Samir is. So, and targeting that people that double the size of my academy, those people double the size of my academy. Man, like in so many really good, hard people in my academy, the environment of my academy, it's amazing. I love the environment of my academy. My students are amazing. Like it's just a great environment, great people, and people there. A lot of them are not going to be the next world champion, but man, if I change someone's life, I'd rather than to have 10 world champions,
Yeah. Well, and I think obviously I've known you for a long time, and you have always been like our favorite. Like if it's like you versus anybody else doing a seminar, we're always like, oh, get Samir, tell Samir to come. Like we just like, you're always our favorite. Like, you're an amazing guy. I think so that goes to a lot of just like your personality and your ability to teach and your ability to like care about people. And that probably just through osmosis goes out to your students and things like that. And that's why I think you have such a successful team and a great environment in general around you. Like you're just a good guy. Kashin, you're the same thing. Milton, the same thing. So it's just a really great team that you put together. And I think you guys are doing awesome. I guess any last words of wisdom?
No, that's it, man. Like, but I'm not trying to sell anyone here, but if you guys are in doubt, just consider getting to the Academy Kings. You get my word for it. It definitely changed my business, and not only my business, changed my life changed my life and the life of my family. I even text Lance the other day. I was like, bro, thank you very much for everything you do. It literally like changed my academy, changed my business, which automatically changed my life. Not only about income, it's about knowledge. And like I said, just having the feeling that I can wait for the storm to pass this, I can go back to where I was, just having that knowledge, just having just being as secure as that is just something that kept my mind on track, kept me safe, kept me sane, gave me sanity, like for this whole time and everything. So,
well, and I think it has there's a calmness when you have the confidence and the ability to just go out there and do what you have to do to turn the ads on and get people in the door. Like you're not ever in a rush or even you don't have to put out a fire, I guess is the main thing. Yeah. Like, you can just go turn on ads and people are going to come in, you're going to be able to sell them. So you're not in that panic mode that a lot of people got into. And then once you get in that panic mode, you start making mistakes or, it's like, oh, I'm just going to close up. Like I can't deal with it. So a lot of that calm and ease comes with that knowledge of knowing those things. And I want to thank Samir because he's also, other than maybe Vicente Jr., who's my instructor that I train with all the time, like Samir's definitely the guy that I got a lot of fun techniques from. And he's given me a lot of jiu-jitsu knowledge. So I appreciate that. So you're coming out in a couple weeks?
Yeah, I'm visiting Jay. I'll be there with Jay May 1st.
Perfect.
So I'll be in Pennsylvania May 1st. So I'm getting a little early, probably a couple of days early. I spoke to Vicente yesterday, so I'll probably go there like on a Thursday, and I'll go to Jay's on Saturday.
Okay, so yeah, if any of you guys are in the Maryland area or close and want to come either to ours or Jason up in Pennsylvania, Jason Moore, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We will we'll put some information out. Come see Samir. And if you guys are down in Nashville area, Milton, I think it's like the 14th or 17th?
17th, yeah. April 17th, be there. Mm-hmm.
Milton's going to be opening up his place in Nashville. So if you want to go have an amazing seminar with like 20 amazing black belts, that would be a good one also. And then are you still doing seminars and stuff?
Yes. A little less than before, but I do still have dates available for not next month, but the months after that.
Okay. Yeah. So if you guys want Samir seminar or anything like that, it is amazing seminar, amazing jiu-jitsu. So get him on there for sure. And then, like I said, if you have any questions about Academy Kings, feel free to reach out to Samir. Well, Samir, I will wrap it up there. Thank you for taking the time today. All right. Take it easy.